All right, so companies are cracking down on remote work. So what does that mean? We had the pandemic. People got used to working in their drawers, working in their pajamas, your long johns, whatever it was. It looks like a lot of employers are cutting back on that.
Productivity has long been a contentious issue for supporters and critics of remote work, with mixed results in studies measuring its impact. For instance, October 2024 research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics found that productivity increased with the rise of remote work across 61 private sector industries from 2019 to 2021. However, a major July 2023 study by Stanford's Institute for Economic Policy Research reported that fully remote work is linked to about 10% lower productivity than fully in-person work.
So studies are not clear on whether remote work makes you more or less productive. There is mixed evidence there, but there are perceptions that coming together can increase productivity.
Depends on the job and the industry. I think in some cases, remote work, there are jobs where it really doesn't matter whether you're at the job or working from home. It just depends on what needs to be done. I think for remote work, though, I think what really matters also, I think where things are going to go eventually is that remote work should be for people who have been in a position for a while too. One of the issues I think employers have with remote work is trust. Remote work gives you the opportunity to work from home, but you can also do many things at the same time. You could be working another job. Some people are working two jobs at one time. If you're in a situation where you can't be seen or tracked, you could be doing anything. And if you're an employee, you love the flexibility. But if you are the business owner, then you might look at it a little bit differently.
The fact is that bosses like to have people on the premises. I've spent most of my career as an editor-in-chief, and I liked to have people in the office. And there's something to be said. I totally am very empathetic to the idea of culture and mentorship and creativity and all of those things. But that said, there is a reason why hybrid remote work remains so prevalent.
For the employer, what this woman just said is interesting too, because a lot of bosses prefer, or some bosses prefer to have the employees there. And the reason why they want the employees there most of the time is because you have to be able to track your employees, and it goes back to trust. So I think employees and employers have to have some level of trust to even keep the remote thing going. Now, in the pandemic, it was necessary. It was pertinent to the situation. So you had to have people work remotely. It is what it is in order to keep the business afloat. But obviously, things have changed the past couple of years. Employees had the upper hand at the time, and they could quit and job hop now, a couple years later. All that's changing, and the job market has changed a lot for a lot of people, so you can't just go from job to job. Employers have the upper hand again. But I think there's a level of trust. So when it comes down to having employees in the office, the question should be, is it about productivity or is it about control? In some jobs, in some places, it's about control. We want to be able to see what you're doing. You're getting paid to be here. You're getting paid to work for us for so many odd hours. What the hell are you doing all day? Are you working and also watching YouTube videos, or you're watching a movie while you work? Or are you whatever, clipping your toenails? Are you doing another job? Whatever. So people can multitask and do different things. But when you're in the face of your employer and you're at work, there's a lot of things you can't do because you'll be seen.
News reports of companies mandating in-person work have been dominating headlines recently, with studies also highlighting crackdowns on the coffee badging trend. Owl Labs data shows 44% of hybrid employees still coffee badge. That's down 24% from 2023. Meanwhile, 70% of coffee badgers have been caught, with 16% now forced to be in office for the full day.
Now, I didn't play the earlier part of the video. So coffee badger, what they call the coffee badger, is someone who, you kind of go in these jobs where you can kind of go in and just kind of check in with your boss or check in with your coworkers. Yo, I'm gonna get some coffee. Hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. This report, that report. All right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna finish the rest of my work at home. See you later.
The push against remote work isn't limited to companies. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, the co-leaders of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, are proposing a 5-day in-office work week for federal employees, raising doubts about the future of flexible work and the coffee badging trend.
Yeah, when I look at the future of flexible work, here's what I see. Depending on the industry, flexible work might be the thing to be. If you happen to work in a technological industry, you can can work remotely. It doesn't necessarily require that you to come in the office versus if you're in a human resources function, if you're a warehouse function, if you're in something director of operations, that's going to force you to continue to come into work because you need to be hands-on.
Now, keep in mind, of course, if you're working in tech, most people I know who work in tech all work remotely. There's no need for someone who works in tech to be sitting next to you at a cubicle. It's just stupid. So if you work in tech, obviously you're going to work remotely. But what I will say is that, look, if you want flexibility, you got to just see if you can find an employer who's going to give you flexibility. If you want real flexibility, start your own business. It's the way the game goes. You understand what I mean? So I think, again, I think it comes down to trust. I don't think it's necessarily a productivity thing. I think if employers were scared about productivity, then they would never even offer flexibility. They would have snatched it back right after the pandemic ended, probably in 2022. I would say they would have just ended it altogether. I think that it's a matter of the fact of, look, employers don't fully trust their employees for the most part. I'm saying this general, this doesn't apply to all companies. There's plenty of companies who offer flexibility or work from home because there's a particular understanding in that particular product or service that they give, and they understand how it works with their employees, and they trust their employees. But generally, employers don't trust their employees because they fear, this is my opinion, I think they fear that employees are going to take advantage of it. They're going to find some way to take advantage of it and probably be less productive. I don't think there's enough long-term studies or a long-term look at whether you're going to get more productivity in the office or outside of the office generally. I think that there's a matter of trust. Now, for the employees, I think that they don't like the control that employers have over them, and they feel like, look, I can do this job on my laptop wherever I want to do the job. I can do the job as long as I get it done. Let me get it done. So I think the employees are like, look, as long as I can be productive and I can do my job, why do you care why I do it? Why do you care? Just trust that I'm going to get it done. So I think all of this comes down to a matter of trust, and I think that's always been there. The same thing with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy for the government. The government workers who have been working remote for so long, good luck getting them back in the office. It's probably just going to be a soft way of firing most of them. But that's what it really comes down to. Do employees trust, or do the employers trust their employees? And I would say, for the most part, not so much. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is it really a trust issue that employees and employers have, or is it a real issue of productivity? Crucial Convo.